Us PC gamers have been struggling for quite some time now to keep up to the competitive console pricing, but that is changing because consoles are going up and we're going to go head to head today.
The PlayStation has gotten more expensive across its entire lineup, and today we built a PC using those new prices to see is it easier or harder to compete with the PlayStation 5 in terms of price performance by building a gaming PC using all new parts. Well, we have the PC built and we have a PlayStation here to find out, and we'll dive into testing after a word from today's sponsor.
Paying a premium for wireless phone service and getting spotty connection and drop calls just drives me crazy. That's why I made the switch to today's video sponsor, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is a wireless phone service provider with plans that start at $15 a month. And the best part is, the wireless shopping experience is easy and online. It's so much easier to shop around when you're not in store getting haggled by salespeople trying to upsell you the newest iPhone. Mint provides 5G coverage to 98% of Americans and 4G LTE coverage to 99% of Americans, which means you get reliable service on the nation's largest 5G network. Mint also lets you choose the data amount that's right for you. You're able to select from 5 gig, 15 gig, 20 gig, or unlimited data each month. And with bulk savings when you buy more months up front, you're able to ensure you get a plan that's perfectly suited for your needs. And I love the fact you're able to sign up and activate within minutes from the comfort of your own home using your own unlocked phone and eSIM. Or if you want to, you're able to shop around with Mint and check out the latest phones available. No matter which route you take though, you can keep your phone number and all your existing contacts when you switch. With the 7-day unconditional money-back guarantee, stop overpaying for wireless just because that's how it's always been. With premium plans starting at just $15 a month, break the traditional wireless cycle with Mint Mobile. Be sure to check out the links in the description down below to learn more, and big thanks to Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it.
So as of April 2nd, 2026, there were some big price increases for PlayStation, and I know Xbox kind of went through the same thing, but the PlayStation lineup's pretty insane. So starting from the cheapest, the PS5 Digital, which means you don't have any type of DVD reader, was $499. It is now $599. So $600 for basically your entry-level PS5 at this point. Now next up, the PS5 standard disc version was $550. Well, another $100. $650, which is basically what we have here. Now, I will say we didn't want to go out of our way to buy a branded console because we ain't console gamers, we're PC gamers. So this is the older disc version. You can buy the slim version now, but same performance. And then lastly, this is the crazy one. This is like the most expensive console we've seen in quite some time. The PS5 Pro is $900, which we're not really going to be comparing the Pro to this because obviously the Pro has a little bit more performance under the hood, but yeah, it's pretty crazy that we're looking at quite a price for this thing, which makes our PCs look a little bit better because for a while there, we were kind of unable to even compete with consoles.
Now, if you're at home wondering, well, what exactly does a PC need to have to compete with the PS5 in terms of specs, let's talk really about what the PC equivalent specs are of a PS5, non-Pro edition. You're kind of looking at an 8-core 16-threaded processor that is similar to something like a Ryzen 7 3700X, lower on the clock speed compared to modern processors. We'll talk about here in a second what we have here, which is not going to be apples to apples in terms of the specs because we're more focused on the price of each console, trying to match that price to see what we could get. And then the GPU department, you're looking at something like an RX 6700 level GPU with a little bit of ray tracing horsepower. Now those specs are no slouch in today's standards, but again, with the price increase, the value of that console is definitely dwindling, especially with the closed ecosystem of having a console versus a PC and all the other variables you guys know as PC gamers. But we decided to build a PC to compete against it. And the big caveat we focused on was going with all new parts. Jackson and I talked about this off camera. We could go the used route and build a really good price performance PC. We actually just built one for $650 with a 2080 Super and a Ryzen 5 5500. So really that doesn't make the comparison apples to apples because you could go used with the console. So we went all new parts here and we're able to get this at right at $648.99, which is just a little bit below $650 pre-tax, making these apples to apples. But we're not gonna waste any more time. As you guys can see, this PC is already built. We actually built this over on twitch.tv/ToastyBros. If you guys didn't know, we build a lot of PCs there. We give away PCs every single month. And if you're not following on Twitch, you're missing out on a lot of fun content. So be sure to follow twitch.tv/ToastyBros. But we're gonna talk about the main core components of this build, why we went with those parts, and why it could be a good competitor to the PS5 if you're building on your own using all new parts.
So we bought all of these parts on Amazon and Newegg. Those are definitely some of the best new retailers. You can also check out like Best Buy and Walmart as well. But starting things off, we got the Ryzen 5 5500, and we've been joking around the shop that this is like the only budget CPU, it feels like at this point, that's really worth going with because you can get them for still around $70. 6 cores and 12 threads, which yes, 3700X would technically be an 8-core 16 thread if you really even count that since the console is not exactly those specs, but it is older, lower clock speed. So this 5500 actually will perform not too much different than something like a 3700X, especially when you consider gaming. Another fun tip is go on Newegg before you go and buy those parts on Amazon and look up something like 5500 combo, and you can actually find something like the CPU, motherboard, and RAM sometimes for a really good price that saves you money. And by the way, it does come with the stock AM4 cooler, which we decided to use to save some money because this thing does not need a lot of cooling. Now for the motherboard, we went with the Newegg route. We got a B550m Pro 4 from ASRock, and it was $79. And this is a pretty good board. You know, you got two 4-pins for the CPU, you got 4 RAM slots. It can handle a Ryzen 7 pretty easily, and it's a solid board. It's one where if you wanted to in the future, instead of going all the way to like AM5, you could just upgrade the CPU to something like a 5800 XT if you find one on sale. Now here's where going used could save you some money. Once again, all new pricing, $95 for the RAM. We ended up with 16 gigs of DDR4. We went with the ADATA XPG Gammix, which was 3200 MHz CL16 and $95. If you go on eBay or sometimes Marketplace, you can find RAM like this for closer to like $65, maybe $70, but it is new. It does come with a manufacturer warranty, which is nice, and it is 2 sticks with some heat sinks, so it looks pretty good. Another fun fact is technically a PS5 does have 16 gigs of memory, so it actually does line up as well. Now here's one technically not apples to apples part, but it would make this build a lot more expensive because of how expensive SSDs are. We ended up for $75 getting an Ediloca 512 gig NVMe SSD that's Gen 3. Now one fun fact about consoles is all of them come with Gen 4 drives now, and this one specifically would come with a 1 terabyte Gen 4, which is pretty insane. Realistically though, on PC, I don't know of a game that like has to run absolutely on a Gen 4 drive. They can all run fine still on Gen 3s, and there's still plenty of read and write speed to get what you need done.
Now when building a console killer PC, I wanted to make sure we maximize our GPU performance, and I went with the most expensive GPU we could on the new market that gets the best bang for buck, and in this situation is the ASRock B550. The GPU comes with 10 gigs of VRAM. It is a solid card coming in at $250, where you can play 1080p and 1440p gaming if you want to on lower details with upscaling. We will be utilizing a lot of Intel's upscaling in the testing we do today because it will help us out when we stretch into 1440p, because that's what makes the PS5 and all other consoles so special, is the upscaling tech built in that allows you to play at quote-unquote 4K, but really is an upscaled image from 1080p or 1440p or even lower to make that work. And we'll be trying different settings that are on the PS5 as well, because you can actually change the settings in-game on some of them to where you're running more 4K or 1440p with a higher FPS number, but we'll get to that when we dive into testing. But the B570 is a good choice. Now the only thing we're going to be limited here is with that CPU being Gen 3. We may have some issues with our B570, but it is a Gen 4 card, so realistically we shouldn't have any problems. But if there's any micro stutters or other issues that do come from that, and that 5500 being a slightly lower end CPU, it could hold us back in theory with the B570, but we'll see with benchmarks at 1440p if that is the case. Now if you don't want to go Intel, because Intel Arc isn't for everybody, you can go on the used market, as we mentioned, if you aren't going to go new and buy something like a 2080 Super or an RTX 3070. On the new market, there really isn't any other good options. The next closest is a 3056 gig, and this GPU is way faster than 3056 gig, and RTX 5050s are about $300 now. So you're going to be spending more money going with a different GPU, but if you do want to and you're building a PC and you're okay spending a little more money, getting like a 5050 or a 5060 level GPU would be a good option to consider going new. Now the power supply came with the case that I bought on Newegg in a combo from Zalman. This is a Zalman T3 Micro ATX case and the Gigamax power supply combo that we picked up for $79. Combos are the best way to save money in this RAM market, guys. If you're going on Newegg specifically, or if you have a Micro Center is definitely go to when it comes to that. You can save a lot of money getting these combos, whether it's the motherboard like we mentioned with the CPU or a case power supply combo, and they're better than they were from back in the day. I remember building PCs years ago where these combos had really crappy power supplies, but they would do the job. But either way, a lot of people were scared to use them because they're really crappy power supplies. The Zalman Gigamax is not a bad power supply. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's 600 watts, 80 plus bronze will be plenty to power our build with the room for a little upgrade in the future. And you could also get some from Rosewell as well if you want to go down that rabbit hole and find some other cases to spend a bit more money. But this was the cheapest option that looked okay. I mean, the case looks fine. We also have one fan for intake and one for exhaust, and it looks pretty good overall. It's Micro ATX, it's all black, and that's all you can really ask for a build at this price point. You're not going to get any crazy RGB aesthetics when you're going all new parts. You got to do some sacrificing. The only RGB you're getting is that graphics card bar right there. So just stare at that all day if you really want some RGB with your 650 new parts PC. But all jokes aside, I really like this build. I think it's going to compete pretty nicely, but it all comes down to how it performs in the games that we chose to test in this video, and those games are as follows. We have Fortnite, we have God of War Ragnarok, which is a game that you can actually get on PlayStation Plus, a more demanding AAA title, but a PlayStation exclusive that you would normally buy a PlayStation for, but now comes to PC. We also have ARC Raiders, which is a newer title that runs really well on PC. I'm curious to see how it runs on console. And lastly, an older AAA title, Cyberpunk, which is another game that runs very nicely on the console with different settings that you can run, that we are going to run on this PC as well. So we got a mix of an esports title with Fortnite. We got some more demanding games that'll be realistic to what somebody would sit down and play in a single player experience. So how we're going to test both the PS5 and gaming PC is by having two identical monitors that we can run at the same time, run the same games at the same time, and see if we can notice a difference between the visual quality on various settings and performance. We are using Sansui 1440p 200Hz monitors, which with the PS5, I don't see us getting there. We are going to be capped at most to 120 FPS over HDMI 2.1 if we are going to run some of the titles that do support it, but realistically, we're looking at about 1440p 60 FPS in a lot of the games we test, and the PC in theory can just go as high as we want it to because you have the ability to customize your settings however you want. But we'll get them as close as possible, do some testing, and see which one is better.
All right, so we got the PC on the right side, we got the console on the left side.
I can't tell which is which.
Matching monitors, 200 hertz, 1440p, and realistically, you're probably normally running the console at 4K and the PC at 1080 or 1440p, but yeah, we want it to be apples to apples here.
Depends on the game too, the PS5, because realistically, you could end up running things at, as Jackson mentioned, 4K or 1440p. With ARC Raiders, we'll mention as we go through each game what settings they default to, or if you have the ability to customize the settings. You really only get 1440p or what they call dynamic resolution scaling, which could be anywhere between 4K textures all the way down to like 720p, where it'll auto adjust and keep a 60 FPS target. So no high refresh rate on ARC Raiders when it comes to the PS5. And if you want to check the settings I did select for the B570, you are running at 1440p. We are using upscaling though, because obviously that is a big part of the PlayStation. We're running XeSS on balanced, which seems fair. Lower on the ray tracing scale, which we could up a little bit if we want to, but I mean, because right now, what, we're getting 100 FPS?
Yeah.
100 FPS.
And the highest we could get on that is 60.
Yes, so obviously you're going to see the smoothness of high refresh rate.
Do you like a slow, like, circle pan?
So for an average gamer, you're not really going to notice it, but once you get spoiled by the high refresh rate ability and the fact that this, without any frame gen, is getting 100 FPS, you're going to feel that fluidity on a high refresh rate panel.
Go beat up the bot. Go beat up the bot.
Go beat up the bot. Let's see. Here we go. Visually, they look very similar. I'm not seeing anything. Maybe the PC is a little sharper, actually.
You know what's kind of funny is the console shadow actually looks smoother.
It does look smoother. That looks more jagged with whatever settings we're running. Yeah. The colors look a little bit different. But I will say visually, they both look good. I honestly would give the PC a slight edge because it might be just slightly sharper. It depends on what kind of upscaling we're getting right now on ARC Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, say view distance, render distance really. Looks pretty similar too. I mean, Matt's looking at those trees down there. I'm looking at the trees. I don't really see a major rendering difference in all honesty. So at medium settings, that's probably about what this console is running. You know what I mean? It's maybe close to like a medium preset with upscaling. But obviously, the biggest difference I've seen so far is when we're moving screens, you can really see the difference of, we're not even getting 200 hertz either, but the fact that the monitor in most TVs can do at least 75 hertz, you would be seeing a big advantage with the PC.
So it really depends on the game-by-game basis. There are games we will test that have the 120 hertz mode, which will feel much closer to what this is going to feel like. But when the game's capped at 60, it's capped at 60. With PC, you can lower those settings as low as you want and get that smoothness you're looking for and give up visual quality. With the console, you are locked down, which is normally the biggest downside here. So I would say the fact that the PC obviously gives you more customization, really the PlayStation would have had to blow me away with the visuals for it to make more sense. I'm thinking the PC is a win in ARC Raiders. What do you think?
Oh, I think just because of the FPS, 110% the PC's winning. Once again, just going into the fun facts of like, I could have a second monitor over here with Discord and other things up. I could be live streaming this, which I guess you can kind of do with console. I just think, as of right now, the fact that that PC is the same price with the all new parts, it's hard for me to argue the console standpoint.
All right, let's try another game.
I'm still loading. Am I gonna?
Yeah, guys, this is probably important to include. We're running the Gen 3 drive right now. Obviously, there it is. It's in now. But it was a little bit slower to load in.
Yeah, this is our first load-in, and I am on a Gen 3 drive, which maybe that's the theory on the Fortnite shaders, is it's kind of like still compiling because of the SSD. I don't know.
That could be it.
But I'll try to see if I can change settings around if I need to, but I'm gonna see if we can get higher FPS. Because right now we're at 1440p, and instead of doing like our usual performance mode, I'm at TSR medium set to quality on the super res, and this is like actually pretty demanding. I kind of got it cranked up right now.
Where are we going?
Painted palms?
Yeah, let's do painted palms.
Can we talk about how the bus like zigzags now?
It does zigzag and it kind of throws me off. Oh, that's how I jump. I was like, how do I jump?
Console just, it ain't even gonna... I saw a couple times.
You can see some frame drops.
Like it still doesn't hit double digits though.
They look pretty similar right now with the settings we're running. There's nothing like glaring. Like it doesn't look like we're running like performance mode on one and like higher details on the other. This one's getting about 120, just some slight dips here and there. You could kind of see the FPS counter up in the corner. McAllister might be able to enhance that a little bit.
And it's not like we can't really see what exact settings the console's running. So the console could be running like a higher res that's upscaled or higher quality that's upscaled.
But it is a lot smoother. You're actually getting that 120. You guys at home will not see the difference, but we do get that 120, and Jackson's getting about 100 FPS right now.
Yeah, so I'll probably have to lower my
settings. Might lower some settings if
second.
we're going to get it super optimized, but visually,
they
look very similar.
I'm going to look out here real quick.
So the thing looks soft. How does Toon look?
I wonder what the view distance.
Oh my god! We got to actually
I wonder what
survive.
the viewer distance is on, like the view distance, because right now I am on Epic. I wonder if the console defaults. These guys are bots, bro.
They're
bots.
These bots can't get us.
Okay.
Oh, now he's a bot.
Why? Oh my god.
Oh, that aim assist.
Is it coming in clutch?
It's coming in clutch.
All right, yeah, I'll play with my settings a little bit here. Let me.
He's gonna play with himself a little bit here.
Now, obviously, we could go to performance mode and get way more in the console. We could get like probably 250 to 300 plus FPS, but we're not gonna do that. We want to keep it looking good. I honestly hate how this game does this. How it's like different levels of TSR. Like which one gets me more? All I know is this.
Yeah, because you can run TSR, but then there's also, I think XeSS and DLSS is another preset as well. So like TSR is like Fortnite's built-in upscaler.
So we got TSR. I guess, yeah, we could do, let's just try that. Let's try Intel XeSS and just try that.
A little bit better.
A little bit better.
Visually,
looks
about the same.
About the same, yeah.
You get about 120 FPS. That is one downside. We say downside. We use it a lot. The 5500 is a good CPU, but it does have less L3 cache than like a 5600 as a Gen 3 support. So it is a little bit more of a cut down CPU that can hold back your GPU in CPU bound scenarios. So in this one, it definitely is a little bit closer in terms of raw FPS for your dollar.
Yeah, unless we just went to performance mode, which we know would guarantee, get us more than this, but yeah, might as well keep it. Right now it looks good, and the console also looks really good, so we wouldn't want to make this just look way worse just to get more FPS.
All right, we got to find our rival.
I have such little mouse space and the sensitivity's so low.
It's like, don't mind me, I don't even know how to use this controller. I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, is it on that radar you see up?
Oh, right, it's right here.
Where all the gunshots are.
They're moving too, so they're alive still. Coming in hot.
I'm coming in hot. Oh, there you go. Oh no.
Man, watch out. Watch out.
Oh, I'm down! Oh, wow, they finished me? That's insane!
Oh, I just missed.
No.
Oh my god! I didn't even have a chance. All
right, what are we thinking here? Is this like a draw, you think?
I mean, if we're running just not performance, we're trying to make them look the same, draw basically. Yeah.
Basically a draw. So you're playing Fortnite, going to this PC, you're not going to get a dramatic difference unless you dive into the whole customization of performance mode, which if you're playing Fortnite professionally, you would do that. But hey, looking pretty good. The console did bounce back here. We'll try something else. All right, guys, so we're in Cyberpunk now. I started a new game on both, so we're in the bar area at the very start of the game. But just to show settings real quick, Jackson will show you guys what we're running on that end. I'm currently running the performance mode on the PlayStation, which that is 1440p with some dynamic resolution scaling, but it targets 60 FPS. And on Jackson's side, I mean, it's a PC. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, and this game has a lot of settings. We're on XeSS Super Res set to quality. We have frame gen turned off currently, but it's something we could put on, and consoles love using frame gen.
Yes.
And you can see here we got, here's all the other settings.
It's like high settings, basically.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Basically the high preset.
So this should be 60 FPS is what we're working with over here on the PS5, and right now we're getting about 80. So let's just like look at the bar real quick. I know this is an area that has a lot of different colors and stuff.
I think it's funny there's totally different people generated right now.
I know, it is crazy. So I'm looking here, they look very similar. Anything that pops out to you?
I feel like maybe these stickers in newspaper are a little more readable. Maybe you're just, maybe we're not.
Let's move
let's see if we can actually.
I think it is sharper. I think it is sharper on the PC, just ever so slightly. It's not by anything crazy.
It's not like it used to be when you compared like the 360 to a PC running high settings.
It is very close. I mean, your FPS is getting better over there, like 90 to 100. Now, we can turn on ray tracing as well, which is actually what his PC defaulted to, is ray tracing low. Not ideal for the B570, but it can run it. And with our FPS, it'll still be better than the PS5, because when I go and turn on ray tracing here,
let's check it out, check it out.
There we go. Oh, he's going to do ray tracing with frame gen.
Something a little extra, because you don't have a choice. You can't turn that off.
I am now. Oh, there you go. You're getting the same FPS.
Yeah, with ray tracing.
With ray tracing, but I am now at 30 FPS.
Yeah, that wouldn't be worth running.
No, it would not be worth running, in my opinion. It doesn't look great. You guys at home would actually be able to see this difference, because you're seeing a video shot at 60 frames per second. So you'll see the 30 versus the 60. Or in Jackson's case, 90 FPS versus 30 FPS. It is not even close.
I say when you're sitting still, though, they both look good still. I mean, you can see ray tracing. I feel like on the PC, it still looks slightly better. I feel like the glow effects, this is still really sharp. I mean, they're both sharp, but I don't know. That 30 FPS, though, definitely ain't it.
I personally would not do that. And honestly, shout out to the B570. That GPU's doing better than I honestly thought. I was expecting it to struggle a bit more, especially with that 5500. But 1440p seems to be the CPU bottleneck is not there as much. So I'm giving it to the PC for sure on this one.
PC.
This one's definitely PC. Let's try it one more game. All right, so we're in GOW Ragnarok. And currently, Jackson will show the settings we're running here. I like how it's at 199.99 hertz on our 200 hertz
I feel
panel.
ripped off.
Feel ripped off, but he's running XeSS on balance, and we're on a high preset at 1440p. Over here, you just get a couple options. So you get favor performance or favor quality, and then high frame rate mode on or off. So based on what I'm seeing with favor performance, you actually are getting above 60 FPS when you are running that. So you're getting a slightly higher refresh rate, which we will be focused on, because I think that's kind of where we're gonna be at with this PC as well in these settings. But we're just gonna do this opening scene here. Hopefully it's not too complicated. We're gonna see if we can tell the difference. Oh God, I'm on the dog sled.
I'm on the dog.
Okay, first impressions. This is kind of a fast scene too, because we're able to tell the foliage and everything. They look very similar. You're getting about 85 FPS on the PC.
Do some looking around.
This feels pretty smooth. This might actually be a little above 60. There's no way to tell, but since we're on the favorite performance mode, this might be a little above 60, or it might be right at 60.
I feel like it has to be above 60.
Yeah, it has to be above 60. It looks pretty smooth. Visually, everything looks pretty solid. I will say some of the lighting looks different, I think, on the PlayStation. Maybe slightly, but not anything major. Oh, I just sent a dog after him. Look at a bird. The bird that turns into the girl. And these are all live action cutscenes. So we are, as you can see, the frame rate over there, we are rendering this image. So this isn't just like some video effect. I think these look really close, like very, very similar.
Yeah, I can't say definitively that like one's looking any better than the other right now.
And we have way more settings to work with on the PC that we could either up the frame rate, lower the frame rate, run something different. I'm getting my ass beat. Oh, let go of him.
There she is.
Oh, no. Oh.
Oh,
Hey, I think this one's a draw too. I mean, without like, again, I could go into the settings here. Jackson's going a little further into it, but I could go in the settings here and swap to favor quality and just see what that does. Now with the frame rate off, I can already tell this is 30. I'm not even gonna unpause. Like this is 30 for sure.
Can you have favor quality and high frame rate?
You can. I gotta see what that looks like. So favor quality, high frame rate mode on. That's still, I think this is the one that runs at 40 FPS.
Yeah,
so
dude, that looks,
that's still,
comparatively,
this still looks significantly better in terms of overall. I mean, this does look good. Like, I mean, visually it does look pretty good. Oh, and I just got killed. Oh, you're gonna defend. I died. I couldn't do it because of 40 FPS.
I won't let her kill me.
I won't let her kill me.
Oh wait, I'm pressing the wrong. Oh,
I did the same thing.
I was pressing the wrong thing.
But I think this is a pretty comfortable draw, in my opinion. But you do get more setting tunings over here. I think this whole video, I'm kind of just getting more and more impressed with the B570 as a GPU, because you compare it with anything, I thought there'd be problems with this. And it gets a very similar quality effect. But you guys at home, you're gonna be watching, y'all can decide which one you like better. But based on the test so far, I think the PC is actually a better deal overall. Let's talk about all the other stuff during the outro that you have to pay for with the console versus the PC, and all those other things about console versus PC that you guys should know.
So the results were pretty interesting with our PS5 versus our gaming PC, and this is something that I don't know if we saw coming. The fact that they aren't that much different, but we feel like the PC overall was better FPS-wise.
It was pretty crazy. I thought this would be a lot closer, but I think that price increase is really impacting the PS5. If you do get a PS5 used for $500 or less, maybe the argument could be there if you're just a casual gamer who wants to play on a controller, but an all-new parts PC, I didn't even have to go on the used market, which shout out to LTT. I know they went with a used PC for their challenge and they were able to get similar results, but we went all new parts and kind of felt the exact same way, that it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend $650 on that PS5, especially if you are open to the idea of PC gaming and can build your own PC. That's probably a very important part. But before we end this video, we always got to talk about some of the downsides with console that you may not think of and the pros with PC when it comes to the game availability.
So if you didn't know, on console, there's typically about 3,000 to 5,000 games at any given time that you can actually play, but on PC, there is typically 100,000 plus games because they don't delete games, and when you have all these different launchers that are battling to compete, like Steam, Good Old Games, Epic, Battle.net, EA, there's so many of them that they're actually having to be competitive with their pricing, while with console, you have PlayStation Network and you have Xbox Live. It's pretty much all you have, so they can just price things however they want. Don't even get me started on the Nintendo Switch with their $80 games. PC is pretty cool because you can get things like Humble Bundles, the Steam Summer, Winter, Fall sales, and there's just so many ways you can get games, even demos for free.
And I know PlayStation has gotten a bit better in terms of the games they've offered for the price. I know that was a big point in some of the other videos I've seen, that PlayStation does run a lot of sales and they even give out free games every so often, similar to what PC does, but it's still not to the scale of Steam and some of the other resources that are out there. But hey, we're PC guys. We definitely have a little bit of a bias when it comes to this challenge, but we do think really this PC was a good experience. And back when we were testing consoles years ago, we honestly leaned console for the budget option because you were getting superior quality for the price, but now that things are more expensive, it does seem like the PC is still the better option now that the prices have kind of evened themselves out. But let us know, are we dead wrong? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you want to buy anything from today's video, links in the description will be affiliate links and they will help us out.
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
So if you want, you can have one of the experts at PC Bros or Toasty Bros build the PC for you.
PCBros.tech. Buying is better than building sometimes. I don't know why I said it like that, but we're just gonna roll with it. Buy a PC. Maybe you don't want to deal with the cons of building. It can be quite difficult sometimes. So buy a PC from PC Bros. Use code Toasty Bros on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.